And so I've described what it is, and I guess now I'm going to babble a little about when you spend 40 days in the desert solo, what do? Why are you there? How does it go? So we'll go into daily routine. Cut. Daily routine. We better still be filming, camera. Daily routine, alright. It's a little bit different for each place. So like, let's start off with Fish Creek where I went first. Okay, so Fish Creek, not a lot of people there. Okay, there was one night on a weekend, one time, where there was like 10 people there. That's very rare. Typically it was just me, maybe one other group of people, that's it, or just me. The last time I was there, not the first time, there's this guy Pat, who is this awesome rock and roller dude from the 60s in the Bay Area, played alongside bands like Steve Miller Band, Grateful Dead. He actually had Mimi Farina in his band singing at one point. She was with Richard and Mimi Farina. That's Joan Baez's sister. So totally linked in with all that, and I think I might be able to hook you up with some video of that too, we'll see. Of him playing bass back in the day. So he's an awesome guy, super crazy life experience. He loves to meditate. He does that almost all day. And then at night, when the moon was full, the wash was lit up, we'd walk and talk about the state of the universe, philosophy, meditation, and solving the world's problems. Well, sort of. Anyway, so that was cool. But my daily routine at Fish Creek was sort of like, get up. It was cold there in the morning because a lot of wind coming up the canyon, even though it was the lowest elevation spot. So I'd get up, probably around 7, out of my tent, or out of my car or whatever, right? And just stay in my car till about 9. Then I'd cook my toast, brush my teeth, do all that stuff, and I'd probably begin my day about 11. Like, just the time moves slow in the desert. There's nothing to do. You're just chilling. I'd walk down the canyon, go to the wind caves. I might bring my guitar and play some music, which gets really cool because your brain's just in a trance. Blah 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 blah. Sometimes I'd go for a run. There's lots to explore, whatever, right? Fish Creek I could get cell service all the time, so I was a little bit of a contemporary world addict on the Facebook and internet, whatever, blah blah blah. Other places I can only check it once a day because it's far away where you have to go to get a link, like a connection. So Fish Creek was cool. It was a good spot. Definitely the most mind-blowing in terms of location. I met Pat there. He's an awesome dude. I met some kids from San Diego there. At one point there was geology students doing their PhD or masters from Texas who were working on the walls there, studying the way the layers were cut. Very cool spot. Then another spot I would go to would be, like I said, Arroyo Salado. That's where I went to second. Very Kamloops type vibe. Not a lot of people there at all. I would do the same thing, get up. I could start, even though it was higher elevation, I could start on my breakfast toasting a little bit earlier, less windy. The MSR stove worked better. Get that perfect toast, honey, peanut butter dripping all over it. Have to turn the toast like a rotisserie so that I don't spill it everywhere because I'm becoming such a pro at cooking toast. You guys love that. Go for runs as well. There was a bunch of slots there, which I loved. Like I should talk about last part. Just go up the slots. Well, I went for this run through these crazy like mud cave type things. All the washes connect. So like, no matter where you go in this maze of washes and crazy hill things, all the washes are going to go downhill because that's where the water's got to go. And there's no water in them right now, but these things are like perfect trails. So you just follow them down, you connect, and then I came back. There's a place called Coach Whip Canyon up there that's awesome. Spent a lot of time at Arroyo Salado with Chuck, this dude who lives in an RV, crazy dude, 60 years old. He would teach me the ways of being spendthrift in the desert or whatever, right? He would kind of show me different hikes or whatever, right? So there's different rocks, the Truck Haven rocks, they got palm trees, they got the Coach Whip Canyon. So I'd kind of wander around, whatever, same thing, play guitar, blah, 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 blah. And in terms of timeline, sort of all the places, the sun would go down around 4:35, depending on how late we are on the calendar year. And I'd cook my dinner and get ready to sort of maybe be in my car, work on the computer or something like that for a couple of hours and then go to bed. But typically I was in my tent or in my sleeping bag or whatever when I had the car bed by like literally like 8 o'clock every night. And I'd be in bed until 7 a.m. So like we're talking like some nights I'd get 12, 13 hours in bed or in the tent. But most nights at least 11. You don't sleep all of it, but you know that's how it works, right? A lot of rest. So yeah, that was Arroyo. Then this place was funny. Okay, so this place, like I said, sort of like heaven, a lot of old people, whatever. But I have to go really far here to check my cell phone. So this is the most southern spot too, Mountain Palm Springs. So the border patrol is really, really heavy here. They have helicopters flying through. At Fish Creek they do too. They have tons of helicopters, military aircraft. But down here they have like always checking for people running through the desert, smuggling drugs, or trying to cross the border illegally or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Border Patrol definitely took a liking to me because I would just kind of like hoof it through the desert. You're allowed to do that to my spot. And they'd be like, where are you going? I'd be like, I'll check my cell phone. They'd be like, oh, that's cool. But first time what happened was I was walking there at night totally dark, and this truck blazes past me. It stops, and I'm like 100 meters past me. It stops. I'm like, oh great, and here's how I die. Some crazy dude in a truck turns around and shoots me. So it turns around, and I'm like, I can't see anything on the truck. I have no idea what it is, whatever, right? Pulls up beside me, and I could tell when the guy pulls up beside me, he's like an officer of some sort. I had no idea. He's like, hey, where are you headed? I'm like, oh, I just back from the cell phone spot. And he's like, okay, did you cut cross country? I was like, yeah. He's like, can I see your shoes? So he like actually like wanted to see like a shoe print of my shoe. And he's like, oh yeah, that's cool, no big deal, whatever, right? Then a few days later, I'm coming back during the day, and one of the other people at the spot, Mountain Palm Springs, in the RV, are like, we saw some dudes running through the desert. Maybe you set off some alarms. And I was like, maybe. So sure enough, they pull up by my car a couple hours later. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, yeah. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. No big deal. You do your thing. Walk wherever you want to walk. I'm like, hey, cool. That's cool. This time I come here, and walking back, super hot day, drinking water. This was earlier in the week. And these guys pass, and then they stop their truck, and they're like, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, someone called in about someone walking along who looked like they were in distress. And Eddie, pardon me, I'm not racist, so I'm just going to say it. I was like, distress? Mexican maybe? And they laughed, and they're like, oh, you're an American citizen? And I was like, no. And they're like, what are you? And I was like, Canadian. They're like, do you have any ID on you? I'm like, no, I don't really go hiking with ID usually. Like, I can meet you back at my camping spot in 15 minutes if you guys want. I'll walk there. And they're like, no, hop in the back. So I hop in the back of the truck. They drive me into my camping spot where my car is. Then they're like, can we see some ID? So I show them my ID. Then they're like, do you have a passport? And I'm like, yeah. So I show them the passport. And they're looking at it like, a couple minutes, like talking to each other, and like, okay, hey man, we just like to make sure everyone's safe in the desert. It gets really hot out there. We don't, if you don't have a lot of water, it can be dangerous. We like to look after people. I'm like, guys, don't worry about it. I know you're doing your job. No big deal. I got nothing to hide. It's all good. So Border Patrol was loving me, that's for sure. And all the people at the spot would laugh about that stuff. They would like, I'd be like the crazy like Border Patrol dude who I was getting in trouble with Border Patrol. Anyway, so this spot, same thing, hiking, playing guitar, walking to check my cell phone, running, all kinds of things. The other thing I did at this spot is a place called Agua Caliente. It's up that way. It's a county park within the state park. So San Diego County. It's got hot springs. So I ran there the other day. It was super windy, so it was like running uphill for like 10 miles. I was dead when I got there. But you're in like hot springs and pool. Super dope. Just chilled out. Unfortunately, I got a ride back with this woman, Yvonne, who was there as well. And she had a vehicle, so I didn't have to walk back. It would have taken like 5 hours to walk back or something, 4 hours. But yeah, and I was already toast. So lots of walking. Here has some really cool spots. There's some like rad big rocks up there like these, but in a canyon. It looks super cool. Genius palm trees here, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's my daily routine. In terms of water and food consumption, water. You need probably 8 bottles, 500 milliliters a day. Not only drinking, but for your toothbrush, for cleaning out your pots and pans, all that stuff. You probably need 4 liters, which is more than a gallon of water a day, every day. So I just buy like lots of water bottles and crunch them up, and then you got to throw them out or whatever, right? When you leave the camp, you can't leave garbage here. Food. Haven't used a cooler yet. Probably should graduate to that, like I graduated to a tent. So I eat a lot of canned food, but I cook spaghetti and stuff like that too. And whatever, I try to do my best. Lots of protein, lots of fat. I noticed midway through the trip, I needed tons of fat. I was dying. All my energy was going out. So I started eating lots of fatty foods. Even if they were crappy fatty foods, I would just eat them, and I felt better right away. And I would just like gorge myself on this because my body was really in need. And then I did that a little bit too long, and I was like, whoa, I don't feel so good anymore. So I toned that back a bit. But that fat balance is really important for me. El Centro is great for that. In between each spot, I go to El Centro, and I stay overnight there at a $43 hotel. I have a shower, a shave, I get a little bit of shelter from the sun, and I eat like insano, like crazy, right? Like just like 3 meals over 24 hours that are just like boom. My favorite spot ever, Donut Palace. Go there if you're ever in El Centro. It's amazing. And I definitely dug El Centro as well. This is probably way longer than I intended. Anyway, so life in the desert is great. You can keep yourself busy, but it's a lot of time for imagination. Like, what do I do when I walk for 5 hours every day? Okay, so when you walk, there's like this sound that your feet make on the sand, whatever, right? And so that over time, over many hours, plus the heat, the fatigue, and just the hypnotic rhythm of it all, you get definitely into like a great space where that chatter isn't chatter anymore. It's just kind of like daydreaming zone. It's awesome, and I love that. I've been asked like, are you lonely, or do you need more human contact, or like what do you do or whatever, right? And so a lot of it is just daydreaming time, thinking about what I want to do. I guess thinking about why I'm down here too. That's sort of a big question that I probably won't get into in this video, but thinking about what I want to do with my life, essentially, where I want to go from here, what the plan is. but just daydream, imagine all kinds of things. You know, it's like, I don't know. I've always been into that. I do it in countless in the summer, wandering around all over the periphery of the city at the beaches and stuff out there. But I love doing it here. It's great, comfortable temperature, lots of trails to explore. It's new fodder for my brain to just expand on. So yeah, I love it. Am I lonely? No. I mean, there's usually some people. Definitely here, there's a lot of people. There's usually some people at the sites, and for some reason they kind of like, they'll come to me where I'm at. I don't really want to bother them, but like, so that's social, I guess, as well. I'm hanging out with like 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds. Great stuff. You learn a lot, I guess. They're cool people. Got a different perspective on life than 20 and 30-year-olds. And I got the phone if I need my like addictive Facebook or internet sort of stimulus as well. I can check up what everyone's doing. That's just a good sort of routine I do that connects to my previous life, I guess, or my life back in Kamloops, not a previous life. And yeah, just letting the mind space out. It's great. A lot of endorphins probably from that aerobic activity and the sun, and just awesome, man. I'm feeling great. So yeah, I think that's about all I got to say. So probably a long video, probably 2x10, I assume, for this one, maybe 3x5. Or I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm not really lonely. Like, but I have to say, I'll tell you, when I get to El Centro, which is a city again, like I'm from a city, I love it. By the second day I'm there, after I've fueled up, eaten all that food, I'm ready to go. I'm walking down the street to the grocery store, whatever. It's sunny, 27 degrees. I am just feeling great, and I think it's partially just being around people. It's you might not be forming tight bonds with them, but just being in that hubbub of people, it feels great as well. I wouldn't want it all the time, but as a contrast, it feels amazing. So yeah, no, that's my desert life. Playing guitar, thinking around on my computer and my phone, super long walks and runs, and hanging out with 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds, rocking the house. You know what I'm saying?